Hi, I'm Sam, the founder of the Broken Wife Effect. I've created this talk series to help women overcome potential challenges they may be having in their lives. This series will cover everything from spiritual to emotional, physical, and practical symptoms that may arise from the Broken Wife Effect. I hope you find this series useful. Welcome to the Broken Wife Effect Healing Talk Series. Hello, everyone. I just want to welcome you to the Broken Wife Effect Healing Talk Series, Part 5. So today we have Carla Biro, who is joining us, very special guest. She is a diversity, equity, and inclusion specialist. That's a mouthful. Her company is Beautifully Biro. And the goal is to infuse equity into the workplace. So Miss Carla, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So how about we start with just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, okay. So I am Carla Biro. As Sam said, I have my own consulting business with supporting organizations with infusing equitable based practices into their workplace. I live in Fishers with my youngest two children. I have 5 children that I've raised, ages 27 to 15, one being a girl and the baby. I grew up in inner city Chicago, lived in Mississippi for 4 years, lived in Amish land, Indiana for 22 years, northern Indiana, and then moved to Indianapolis about 2.5 years ago. Definitely have had my share of heartbreak and some relationships that I've chosen that were less than God's best for me, and understanding the root of that as I get to walk through the process of self-reflection and healing and really just taking time to get to know myself.
Yeah. So today, one of the important things as to why you are on here is because you have worked with a coach, and through your working with coach and you're seeking to find better for yourself and your family. Tell us a little bit about where you were and how you have come to this point in time of your life. And I know self-love is a very big thing that you have been able to identify as something that's very important for you in your life.
Yeah, it's a great question. I just think right away about the just importance of commitment to oneself, and then having that commitment from someone else to walk alongside you. I know that often, as someone that's been in education over 20 years, we commit to students and walking through a process and a journey with them, but we're not always that gracious with ourselves. So, going back to the beginning of that question, I met my coach, which is Sam, yours truly here, right a week after, actually, talk about divine intervention, after my husband left. My husband and I, at that point, been together for 7 years, married for 6, and he decided to take a different path, and he left, and it was just a place of brokenness of dealing with another failed relationship, and not understanding how to even begin to put the pieces of my life back together, and just having an individual to walk through and give me those practical steps. I've tried counseling, and I am definitely an advocate for counseling, but it didn't give me those steps of it. Just kind of was a listening place and a validation, but never those action steps I needed to really start taking control of not necessarily my life, but more of loving myself. And caring about myself, and learning how to fill up my cup instead of trying to give in a place of trying to give from empty. And so it's been over a year now of walking through this process, and definitely some take 3 steps forward and 1 step back, but never took 3 steps forward and 3 steps back. So was able to, with the reminder of Sam, to see the growth, even when times I feel really low, like, man, am I actually growing? Just those gentle reminders of the progress has been super helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. And yes, I have talked before in this series how much I love coaching and being able to walk alongside somebody in their journey. I absolutely have loved getting to know Carla. She has an amazing story of where she's come from as to who she is today. And so being able to see just that small snippet of that journey has just been absolutely amazing. So Carla, we've talked about the broken wife effect and some of the symptoms of that. What do you feel are some symptoms that may have held you back um, from being in this place, from when you were young and when you were starting out?
Mhm. Yeah, so just not having that foundation of a strong support system growing up. My mom was an addict, and my dad. There's only a 17-year age difference, and so we were growing and learning together, and we still are. Fast forward today, my dad and I are really close, but just needing that validation to know that I was important, or that I was needed, or that I was wanted, suffering from abandonment at a very young age, as my mom gave custody to my dad when I was very young. And so moving into relationships of wanting to attach myself to someone I thought would never leave.
Yeah.
And so that meant just giving up a part of me to make sure they would stay. And even having my first son at 16 was the purpose of, many would say teenage pregnancy. Oops, it was actually a wanted pregnancy, because I knew that this individual wouldn't leave. That, if I had a child of my own, he or she would definitely stay.
Yeah. 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 And that's, so many times we search for that from somebody. It's like we're missing a piece, and if we can attach to this person, they're going to give that to us. They're going to fill that void that we feel inside. Um, but over time, as you have learned and you have shown, by turning that inward and really getting to know who you are
Mhm.
and finding love for that person inside, it just brings a whole new perspective
Mhm.
to life, and who you want in your life, or um, what you want others to see, or the different people that you draw towards you.
Absolutely.
What
Absolutely.
what do you feel has been the biggest lesson in your journey of healing? What do you feel has been your biggest lesson?
Yeah, so I think it was a lesson that I had to repeat the process of getting to the lesson over and over again before it finally stuck. Like, God was trying to tell me this, and I wasn't willing to listen. To finally, I got to a place where it's like, I'm really tired of going up to this mountain over and over again, and climbing over, and then having to deal with the emotions of the letdown. Um, and so as my children are getting older, I'm at this place where I am not needed for my children as much as, I was when they're younger. And then at a place of being a single parent again, and realizing that I am tired of looking for someone else to complete me, or to be my identity, and really desiring to figure out who I am. What do I like? What don't I like? And setting boundaries for myself. I've done a lot of exploration in understanding codependency
Hmm.
and boundaries, and what's my business, and and coming to this place of not living through. That's been a huge piece of mine, is living through um, pleasing others, and through perfectionism and performance, wanting everyone to see, like, I am working these many jobs, or have all of this on my plate, and pursuing this. And often my questions would, and conversations would be led with what I'm accomplishing. And I've now gotten to a place where it's like, I want to figure out, am I accomplishing those things for myself? are things that are leading me to the vision that I have for myself, or are these things that I'm doing to get away from that feeling of lack of acceptance or wanting people to accept me or prove myself?
Yeah. 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 And that is, I feel that there's a lot of us, especially in women, to where, we are such caregivers and we, do so much for others that, there's a lot of times that we are searching for that validation for us. Um, and I think that's someplace that it's easily to get stuck. I know I lived in that space for years, always looking outside myself and, just wanting somebody to say, yep, you're good. You're good.
Yes.
Instead of really knowing and believing that within myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if you had one piece of advice to be able to give to women who are starting this healing journey or in the midst of it, trying to, get to that next step, what would your piece of advice be?
Yeah, so I recently heard someone say, "No one's thinking about you as much as you're thinking about you."
Mm,
We are so concerned with what other people are thinking when many people aren't really thinking about us at all.
right.
So we're making decisions in our data that are just life altering decisions, rather than be to stay or to go, take the vacation or not, to move or not, to take the job or not, based on what individuals will say or think, and these individuals aren't really spending a fraction of their time thinking about us in the way that we think they are.
Yeah.
Neither will these decisions um, impact most of their lives like it will ours.
Mhm.
So stop. Yes, thinking about yourself with self care, yes, but stop thinking that you're like the sun and the moon for everyone else, because people really aren't thinking about you as much as you
Yeah.
are thinking about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is a very good piece of advice because we do get consumed of, well, I have to do well, especially like, okay, we have the holidays coming up. I know some people that are like, oh, well, we've always done this. I have to do this. And you
Mhm.
put so much on your plate because I have to do this. Other people are gonna, you know,
Yes.
get upset with me. They're gonna think I'm bad.
Yeah.
And instead of looking at it and saying, okay, does it really matter?
Right.
If it's that
There's a couple
important.
decisions that I've made since you and I have met together and over this last year. One was Thanksgiving. As my kids are older, I have been super stressed with trying to bring everybody together and cooking and so last year my younger two and I, we went and stayed in a super tiny hotel in New York, and
Yeah,
we spent Thanksgiving in New York, and it was one of the most meaningful Thanksgivings
yeah,
um, that I had ever taken in my life. And the other was just um, when you feel like you failed at relationships, you can often convince yourself that you need to stay because you failed before. And this is not everyone's story, but because I was so consumed with what everyone would say about me, after failing a relationship again, I compromised my relationship with my children, my relationship with myself, my goals, and my dreams, because I just didn't want to feel like a failure again.
yeah,
And it is really, no one is thinking about me as much as I like this decision to stay in a situation that's unhealthy is actually more of a detriment on my life than anyone else's.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Well, and somebody shared with me not too long ago that it was a story about a family, and the father would ask every day, okay, what did you fail at today? And it wasn't meant to be a negative. It was meant to, all right, awesome, you failed at that. What have you learned? What have
Mhm.
you learned? What have you taken away to be able to move forward with?
Mm.
What were those opportunities? So I loved that because I've had two failed marriages, and you do tend to question, can I trust myself? Can I can I do this? You know, should I stay for the kids, or stay for this, or stay for that? But searching to find out for sure the reasons why, and what you can learn from it that you don't take into the next, or that you don't take moving forward. So yeah,
And
that's
defining your vision for your own personal vision. And when I think about the people I am worried about impacting, it's usually outside of even my own children, it's others around me. And I think about, is their life aligning with, and their decisions aligning with the vision that I have for myself?
yeah.
They are at a different place. The things that I want, and this is especially true for family, because family's full of advice.
Mhm.
Especially, my dad, I love my dad. He's full of advice, but I have to question, is he at the place that I want to be at his age?
Yeah.
And what are some things that I need to do that are different than some of the decisions that he made? Yeah, he has some great insight, but there are times where I have to really question, does this align with my own personal mission and vision for myself?
Yeah. Yes, that's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing today. We have one last question,
Yes.
and that is, what is your superpower?
Yeah. That's a great question. Oh, moms, we have a lot of them. So,
Yes, we do.
gosh, I am the one that comes to mind is I am a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
I don't take that lightly, as I've done it more and more over the last few years, because I've actually had individuals come to me to say, and it's interesting that you don't even think of it on that magnitude until someone stops to kind of validate things for you. But I have had some individuals come to me and say, you speak effortlessly, and that's something that I have been in training for and take. I see trainings come across like,
Yeah.
improve your public speaking, which of course, yes, I'm always looking to improve, but I know it's a natural. I can actually do that. I can address a large room in communication and continue dialogue and validating questions and input and making folks laugh and working in the room. I can actually do that better than I can in one-to-one.
Yeah.
And so I know it's a definite superpower, and making
Yes.
people smile through tears, and being able to, that balance of validating, hurt, and empowering individuals as well. I can do that in a large room. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yes, that is absolutely a superpower, because I know majority of us tend to feel that we are not good with that part of things. So
yeah.
yes, definitely a God gift. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, Carla, thank you so much for coming on, sharing part of your heart and your story.
Absolutely.
I feel that it's absolutely beautiful. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. This was part 5 of our series. We'll be doing part 6 on Thursday. So hope to see you back then. You guys take care. Bye.
Bye.